What's up, Leafs fans, and welcome to Leafs Digest. We're back breaking down another win for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They've now won 9 of their last 10. They moved to 11-5-1 on the season. That is just crazy to think about. 9 of the last 10, and they moved to 11-5-1 in the season. Think about when we were at the point this year where we were sitting here panicking, thinking, do we just burn the boats, get to a point of it's bust or go for first overall pick, or do we ride this thing out and we actually have a good team? Now we are on an absolute heater here. 9 of the last 10, moving to 11-5-1, remaining second in the Atlantic, but gaining some ground on the Florida Panthers, who still lead the Atlantic Division. We went 3-0 against the Nashville Predators in a dominant win. Goals from Austin Matthews, David Kampf, and Mitch Marner. Great night all around, but there's some specifics I want to get into. If you didn't watch our video yesterday breaking down the new lines and what we thought of them, you guys can go and take a minute to do that. That is up on our channel. It is about Nick Ritchie moving up to the first line and kind of how everything else slots in after the fact. Make sure you like, comment on that video as well. But one of the other things that didn't get touched on in the video, because we weren't sure that this is going to happen, we didn't know, and it actually did happen tonight, was that Travis Dermott slotted in instead of Timothy Liljegren in that top 6. I don't really know why. I don't think there's a reason to pull Liljegren out. It's not like he played poorly on Saturday. I actually thought he played a great game, especially considering that Sandin was out and he was playing without that chemistry and comfortability. But hey, maybe, and this is just speculation, the reasoning behind this is to showcase players such as Travis Dermott and Justin Holl for a potential trade coming up. But hey, we're not breaking down that here. And if you want more videos like that, if you want to hear about what we think potential trades may be coming up, make sure you subscribe to this channel. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers. Every subscriber counts along the way. We're battling through to that, so make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. But you can get notifications on new videos coming out anytime you guys are interested in new Leafs Digest videos, rumors, updates, line changes, game reactions. You can find it here on this channel. Moving on to tonight's game specifically, let's start with the first goal of the game tonight. The opening goal on the power play, it was an incredible shot by Austin Matthews, and that right there is vintage Austin Matthews. That is what we see from that guy. Catch and release on the turn, on an absolute dime. Like, he just grabs that thing from Nylander, no hesitation, and he rips it into the tiniest window past UC Saros. And honestly, the theme of the night at that point, from that moment on, was a battle between Austin Matthews and UC Saros for who was going to get the better of the other. Now, Austin Matthews only ended up with the 1 goal, but I think other than that, it was a pretty even matchup in terms of Saros getting him back, Matthews burning Saros a couple of times, and then Matthews obviously getting that first goal of the game. But one thing, too, I actually want to point out is that goal, or non-goal specifically, I should say, where Matthews flipped it past Saros, goes post, crossbar, and down, stops right outside the line. That is just the universe, the hockey gods getting back and saying, we gave you that Morgan Rielly goal against the Sabres. You guys wanted that one to continue this streak. This one ain't going in, man, because that goal that Rielly scored was one of the craziest, flukiest, luckiest goals I have ever seen playing or watching hockey in my life. And that no goal by Matthews tonight was definitely the retaliation by the hockey universe saying, not this one. But more specifically, Austin Matthews, that first power play goal, that is exactly what we need to see from this team. That power play was high intensity, it was moving fast, and it trailed off later in the game, and I can get to that with the power play, but that opening power play, especially in a first period, that's what you need. If the other team is going to take penalties, they're going to make mistakes, and I'm pretty sure that was an offensive zone penalty specifically, you need to make them pay, and if you can do it in the first period, that sends a message and sets the tone for the rest of that game. You're going to make them pay on their mistakes on power plays, you're going to make them pay on mistakes if they're just turning pucks over, and then you're going to bring the intensity to them. That is another thing that actually came out of this power play, which I noticed carry on through the rest of the game. This power play has often been very slow and lulling not in a good way. Oftentimes, if the power play is lulling, they are just kind of slowly moving it around and just putting the penalty kill to sleep until they attack and they score. This Leafs team, when they are lulling, they're lulling the fans. They're lulling those watching the game because it is terrible, it is boring, and nothing happens. There's no shots, there's no chances, nothing. It's completely quiet. And they came out right away attacking. There was pucks moving everywhere, guys taking shots, creating chances. There was threats everywhere. And every player on the ice, and as much as I've just used that word, was a threat. They were posing an opportunity to score that the opposing team had to be aware of. They had to be wary of and make sure they shut that down. So that power play set the tone kind of for the momentum, the tempo of the rest of the game going forward. Now, moving on from that, it was obviously a great pass by Nylander, great shot by Matthews, incredible way to start that game, and we open it up scoring. But one guy specifically that we talked about yesterday in that video was kind of surrounding was Nick Ritchie moving up to the first line. Now, Nick Ritchie, I think he's been playing a lot better, and I was a bit worried with him moving up to the first line today because I felt like it might be too big of a jump for him, and one of those ones where it's too much, too soon, too fast, where he's not ready for it, and now he's going to feel the pressure again and then underperform from what he's been at, where he has been playing really well. That wasn't really the case tonight. There was one real bad mental error, but that was obviously the slashing penalty that he took, and he paid the price for it. Sheldon Keefe sat him down and said, dude, if you're going to go out there and you're going to go and sit in the penalty box, make sure it's for punching a guy's head in and not for swinging your stick behind the play when the puck's not even around. That is just a garbage, useless penalty. We don't need that. Aside from that isolated moment, though, I think Nick Ritchie played a really good game tonight. He was creating chances. He was creating space for Matthews and Marner. One play that I think you can specifically look at and say, hey, this guy was actually creating space. Yes, the shift where he had the fight is great. Yes, he fought. We love that in Toronto. Nobody fights. But if you look at the play leading up to that, the 2-on-1 came from Nick Ritchie separating the man from the puck along the boards, and he did it with a little bit of oomph. It wasn't just a separation from the puck. It wasn't just pushing the guy into the boards. He actually hit that guy pretty solid and made Nashville kind of take notice, which actually led to the fight. But prior to the fight, between the hit and the fight, was a chance created for Matthews and Marner from that Ritchie hit. It was a direct result of Nick Ritchie separating the man from the puck along the boards, kind of putting some notice into the Nashville Predators and their players, saying, hey, I'm a big body, and I'm going to use it here because that is to my advantage. That creates chances. That is the best thing for this team. Gives Matthews and Marner a chance on the 2-on-1. Incredible save by UC Saros, which alludes to the matchup between the two that I spoke on earlier in this video. But Nick Ritchie played pretty well. And then that fight itself, man, it is great to see a guy on the Leafs do that kind of thing. And the one thing I want to point out here, and I'm more so saying this because I'm not overly sure, so if you guys want to let me know in the comments after this video or right now if you can think of something, when was the last time you saw a spontaneous Leafs fight? And what I mean by that is, yes, we see retaliatory fights where Wayne Simmons fought Edler after he had hit Hyman last year, or we saw Foligno fight Perry in the playoffs, but we don't really get to see spontaneous fights out of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that's more what Nick Ritchie's was. He's just going to the net and some guy going side to side with him, and they both said, hey, let's shed him. Now, it might have been a result of his hit along the boards, but it wasn't really a big hit, a dirty hit, an awkward hit by any means. It was just a hit. Play leads, he crashes the net, bang, we're dropping mitts. That's kind of what I enjoyed seeing that from the Leafs. I don't need a million fights a game, but hey, here and there, just shed them. Just go, set the tone. Let them know you are here not to mess around. You're going to take it to them, and you're going to stand up for yourself. So I love that. But hey, remove that slashing penalty by Nick Ritchie, and I am overall incredibly impressed with this night. But you add in that slashing penalty, and it's just going to take it down a notch to pretty impressed with Nick Ritchie's play on the first line. Moving on. Austin Matthews, I touched on that. He was lethal all night. This guy was just creating chances left, right, and center. You want to look at the goal he scored or the play that I mentioned where he went crossbar, post, the combination of the two. Look at him the rest of the game. He was defensively aware. He was stealing pucks. He was winning battles in corners. He was winning faceoffs. Austin Matthews played himself a great game tonight, and that's what we need from that guy aside from just scoring goals. Yes, it's great when he scores goals. We all love that, but we need him to continue to be an all-around player if he wants to continue to be a superstar and be able to push this team to the next level of actually winning a playoff round and hopefully taking us to the Stanley Cup and winning the ultimate prize there. Now, one guy who did actually get the short straw with Nick Ritchie moving up is Michael Bunting. With Michael Bunting moving on to the fourth line, there's one thing I noticed with this guy that I love about him. He seems like he can play on any line. Now, this isn't a guy that I look at and say, man, he is Zach Hyman 2.0. He's not. He's not Zach Hyman. But he is a very, very good replacement for what Hyman was, especially coming in at a very, very low cap hit under $1 million per year. This guy does a lot. He brings a lot of energy. He is very skilled. He can score goals, and he seems to just fit in with everybody. And we were all excited, Josh and I, after that in the video last night about that fourth line, the Scarborough line, the Toronto line, whatever you want to call it. But they played really well. They have skill. They have tenacity. They'll fight. They'll hit. They'll create crap around the net and just get guys going, and that's exactly what Michael Bunting did tonight. It was great to see. I absolutely loved the way this guy played. I loved that fourth line tonight. They brought the energy, but Michael Bunting specifically, one takeaway from him is that he can play with anyone. He can play on any line with anybody, however many minutes, whatever you need him to do. Michael Bunting can do it. That guy is a Swiss Army knife. He is the light version of Zach Hyman. Zach Hyman light is Michael Bunting, and I absolutely love him for it. Now, the one line that I really want to focus in on here, because I have not touched on them, and they were, to me, the story of the night, is that third line. Pierre Engvall has been a weird, controversial type player here in Toronto since he's kind of gotten in and got his break and actually made a spot for himself in this lineup. But I think he started to slot into that third line really well. And it may be some recency bias and the fact that he's actually playing in this win streak and Mikheyev is sitting in the press box or at home, wherever he is. But I'm starting to prefer Pierre Engvall over him, and I don't know if it's just because of Pierre Engvall's production or what he's doing, because it's not like he's really doing much stat-wise. But I like how he plays with that line, and they seem to like playing with him as well. Kasha and Kampf, that is. They seem to enjoy playing with him. They have good chemistry. They work well together. So I see no reason to break up that line and throw a guy like Mikheyev in there. The other thing I look at when I say this, and it's just my perspective more than anything, is that Engvall, to me, kind of brings what Mikheyev does, especially considering Mikheyev just doesn't get points. And yes, Engvall has a little bit more mental errors, but you can almost look at it like you have $400,000 for about the same player. You save $400,000 for about the same player, and if that line plays well with him, they've got chemistry, they're rolling. Why switch things up? I just don't see the purpose in it. I'd much rather have Engvall slot in there on a cheaper cap hit and keep that chemistry going on that line. But he's not the point of focus on this line tonight. He did play pretty well in my opinion, but there's two other guys who I thought played outstanding tonight, and they deserve all the credit. It's the Kampf and Kasha combination. The two Czechs, those guys have been incredible to me. I have been very impressed with them all year. Kampf has been just an unsung hero this whole season. Honestly, this guy wins faceoffs. He's relied upon in every single defensive zone. He can kill penalties. He's got 3 goals this year, and he scored 1 goal total all of last season. 1 goal. 3 this year. And he's got goals in back-to-back games. Almost grabs himself an empty netter at the end there, but he actually ends up grabbing an assist on the Marner empty netter, which, mind-boggling. That is some magician stuff by Mitch Marner right there. That is kind of what we've come to expect and see from him. But specifically, let's look at that goal that they scored. That is an incredible play by those two all together. It starts with Kasha and Kerfoot on the forecheck, creating just a little bit of chaos, causing a turnover. Kasha ends up grabbing the puck, flipping it back to Kampf, which was the perfect pass, tape to tape. Yes, it's a little bit of an awkward goal in terms of it wasn't like he got all of it on it, and I don't know if that was exactly where he was aiming, but it still beats Saros, and it goes in the back of the net. They don't ask how, they just ask how many, and that play itself is going to earn my New segment alert. Awesome Matthews. Play of the day. Yes, we're switching it up. We felt that this was a little bit more fitting to what the actual segment is, the play of the day. It's not the power play. We're not specifically talking about the power play here. We are looking at the play of the day specifically. And Austin Matthews, the guy is just an animal. So we're going to call it the Awesome Matthews play of the day. And that goes to the David Kampf goal, his third of the year, scores in 2 consecutive games, and keeps Ondrej Kase rolling. One thing I specifically want to point out here, we can't put the video into this video. So after this video is done and you have a chance, you can go look at that goal that was scored last night, or tonight if you're watching it right after, against the Nashville Predators. After David Kampf scores that goal, just watch the excitement on Ondrej Kase's face after he sees the puck go in the back of the net, the celebration from him. You can tell that is a guy who loves hockey, loves team success, and lastly, loves David Kampf having success. You can just tell that guy is so happy for him to score goals, so happy for him to get those opportunities, so happy to see this team winning, continuing to score goals. Ondrej Kase loves the game of hockey. He seems to enjoy playing here in Toronto. And the final thing about them, they've been really deserving that ice time, but they get out there in that late period, third period situation when we're leading by 2 goals. That block by Ondrej Kase is one of those things where it is not only a momentum builder for that game where you see a guy lay out and block that shot, but it's something the rest of the boys keep with them moving forward. You win that game and it's in the back of your mind like, that guy will do anything for us. That guy puts his body on the line so that we can win games. It's a 2-0 game with a minute left, and he is sliding feet first to block shots from Roman Josi, who's got an absolute cannon back there, and he is just putting it on the line in order to have any type of success. And this is coming right after he's given that pass to Kampf to go up 2-0, and he is celebrating like beyond anything that you'd expect on a Tuesday night game against the Nashville Predators to go up 2-0 in a regular season. It was incredible to see. I love that guy. I love what I saw from that third line. They were incredible, and they obviously deserved my play of the day. Now, the final player I want to touch on here, Jack Campbell. This guy is a stud. It's ridiculous. There's no other way to put it, and it just might be time to start considering this guy for the Vezina. If you, that might be a conversation for another video coming up. And again, if you have not subscribed, make sure you do so right now. Subscribe to this channel for notifications on videos coming up when we'll be posting stuff. You guys can get notified and hit the bell so that anytime a video gets posted, you get notified. Live streams, when we're doing those, you guys will get notified as well, so you can be in the chat right away. So make sure you subscribe, turn on those notifications. We appreciate that from you guys. Appreciate all the support. But hey, let's get to Jack Campbell here. The guy is an absolute animal, and personally, I'm ready to put this guy in the Vezina conversation. I will not be putting the crown on his head right now and saying, hey, give him the Vezina, but I'm going to say he deserves to be considered at the end of the season if he continues this, because he is a stud. The guy gets his 3rd shutout of the season, grabs 24 saves on the night. He is among league leaders in save percentage, and in the past 2 seasons combined, he is number 1 or tied for number 1 at least going into tonight's game with Alex Nedeljkovic of the Detroit Red Wings for save percentage. The guy is an animal. He makes big saves. He keeps the team in it. Even just looking at that first play against Tomasino early, I know it kind of hit the post, but it looks like it nicks off of Campbell's pad just for him to get across and even be a part of that and be in timely enough to get across for that, even if it didn't hit him. It's just things like that where it's like, hey, Soup, you are the man. And he seems to love the boys. The boys love him. It's a great feeling all around. Jack Campbell is an animal. Now, the last thing that I'm going to get into here is my grade of the game. All right, tonight's grade of the game, let's be honest, I'm going generous on this one. I was fired up watching this game. It's 9 wins of the last 10 games. It's unreal to see from this team, especially coming off of that point where we were saying, what is wrong with this team? Do we blow it up? Do we make some crazy trades? Do we just tank for right? What is the deal here? No. It's it's beyond that. I'm going A+ for tonight's game. 9 of 10. You come out against the Nashville Predators at home and you just take it to them right away. This Leafs team is a little bit slow for the first couple minutes, but so were both teams, and then we turned it on and just brought it to the Predators. At no point did we allow the Predators to bring the game to us. We force-fed our type of game right down their throat. And the best part about it, from my opinion, yes, it turns out to be a 3-0 game, but the third goal is an empty netter. This team is now comfortable winning close games, which is not something we have ever seen from one of these teams. It is being one of the last things on our mind is to win a close game, and that is exactly what we get here. And yet we still get it as fans with that little bit of sugar on top, where it's just sweet because you get an Austin Matthews power play goal, Mitch Marner caps it off. We still get an exciting game, lots of action from the Leafs, lots of chances, but defensively sound, only giving up 24 shots where Jack Campbell saves all of them, and this stud of a goaltender goes on for his third shutout of the year. All amazing things. We start on time, we're ready to go. We get the first goal of the game. The power play looked pretty decent. I think later on it kind of trailed off and it didn't look as good. I think the puck just started moving slower. Can't really have that. You kind of got to keep it consistent. But then again, you also look at the other side where the special teams of the penalty kill, incredible. The 4th ranked penalty kill in the NHL. The penalty kill has been absolutely living up beyond expectations, really. David Kampf has actually kicked that into high gear. I think Andre Kasha brings that up the next level as well. It's been great to see the special teams looking like that, especially when at the beginning of the year we were saying, what is wrong with this power play? Why can't they score? Here you go. Austin Matthews grabbing himself a power play goal. Love to see it. Jack Campbell, absolute stud. This team, I am so happy with what they did tonight. I know it's a little bit of up and down as Leafs fans sitting here going night-to-night basis. But hey, this is a post-game reaction. This isn't a season overall. How are things going? This is an immediate post-game reaction, and I love what I saw from this team tonight. Defensively, played great. Offensively, get ourselves on the board. You get a goal from 2 goals from the big boys. The power play clicks. Nylander grabs himself an assist on that power play. And then you get depth scoring from guys who seem to be very likable at this point. David Kampf, assist from Andre Kasha, and Kerfoot grabs himself an assist there as well. And obviously Jack Campbell, 3rd shutout of the year, 24 save performance. League leader, one of the league leaders in save percentage and goals against average. Overall, everything going pretty smoothly at this point. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But hey, you got to love what you see to this point. Leafs fans, we will see you guys after the next game, Thursday, November 18th at 7 p.m. against the New York Rangers. Keep believing.